Welcome to the Tyler Werner Show, discussing all the latest in Philadelphia sports.
And we roll into the month of August as Eagles are progressing through training camp. They're about a week in, as far as everybody is concerned, holding open practice early this week, 25,000 strong. And out of one of them, there happened to be a Cowboys fan who decided to attend Eagles open practice sporting his Cowboys jersey, which to me is just a total violation, and was rightfully kicked out. Doug Peterson spoke earlier this week, and Pete Rose Hall of Fame ceremony shut down that was set for August 12th due to the recent statutory rape allegations that have come out. And like it or not, this is the right move for this time, given these allegations.
And now, here's Tyler Werner.
Yes, good day, everybody in the Delaware Valley, Philadelphia Eagle fans. As we are moving towards preseason and looking forward to the first game that is to commence August 10th. We're just about a week away from that, as Eagles are moving through training camp, again holding open practice earlier this week. And of course, what a way to have open practice. You know, Carson Wentz there. I heard there's a story of him signing a wounded warrior with a artificial leg or a veteran or whatever, and you know, just all quite a scene it was. And then in the midst of this, a Cowboys fan was there because we know that because he decided to show up wearing number 88 on Dallas Cowboys jersey. Like, come on. And rightfully so, the Eagles, you know, they basically kicked him out, gave him the hook, which was the right move. But the way they basically said anybody who wears a jersey of any other team, you know, gets kicked out, or they kind of manufactured this rule as the situation happened. But because, I mean, you know, for some goofy reason somebody shows up there wearing a Jacksonville Jaguars jersey. I mean, you know, it's like they look like a goof, I guess, for one thing. And it's like, what's this guy in a Jackson? But it's a clear and obvious thing if somebody shows up to an open practice wearing a Cowboys jersey. It's like, what are they doing there in a Cowboys jersey? Like, come on! It's like they're there to stir up trouble. That's and for public safety reasons, you know, it's like one thing leads to another. You know, a guy in a Cowboys jersey shows up there, and it just, you know, it just made, like, I'm there, I'm thinking, if I was there, I'd be thinking of saying, like, dude, like, what are you doing here in a Cowboys jersey? Or, like, come on, this is an Eagles open practice. It's one thing, I guess, since we have so many bandwagon Cowboy fans in this area. It's one thing if they want to show up, I guess, to an open Eagles practice not sporting any Cowboys gear and just dressing plain, I guess. Not dressing in any team uniforms or sportswear of any kind. That's another thing. And I guess if you want to watch, you kind of want to observe, I guess, since you're not living in Dallas, to observe your own team, I guess, in their open practices or whatever. So I guess observe rival team. That while you're a weasel in this city, rooting for the Dallas Cowboys, having not been from there. That's a different thing, I guess. If I guess you want to check, like I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like if I was in Dallas, and for whatever reason I was an Eagles fan, which I know that there's no championships there, but even okay, let's even say I'm from Philadelphia. I'm living in Dallas for whatever reason, or I don't know. I'm on vacation there for whatever reason.
Yippee-ki-yay.
And I'm there, and I have like Cowboys open practice. I'll check them out. I'll see how they're doing, I guess. I don't know. Even though I'm not a Cowboy, even though I'm an Eagles fan. What am I gonna like? It wouldn't even like cross my like. Say I'm packing for the vacation, whether or not I'd have any inclination of going to a Dallas Cowboys open practice while I'm down there. Like the thought crosses my head, like just as a sports fan, as a football fan in general, like it's not gonna like cross my mind. Like, oh, you know what? I bet it'd be a good idea if I pack some Eagles wear here. Yeah, I'll pack an Eagles jersey. I might want to whip it out. I go to a sports bar in Dallas. I might want. You know what? I think I might throw on my Eagles jersey. Like, come on. And that's especially true if I live there. Alright? Like, if I maybe have a circle of Eagles friends down there and living in Dallas too, maybe it's one thing, like we get together on the weekend at one of our houses where there's not going to be Cowboys fans, and yeah, we'll put on the jersey. And say, like, when the Eagles go down to play Dallas, and I'd obviously be rooting for the Eagles. Still, I'm not going to think, like, I can't, in my right mind, put on that Eagles jersey. It just spells, like, I'll just dress plain, I guess. I don't know. Not dress in any team wear. Which kind of, I don't know, it might look weird because it's like I'm just dressed plain at a Cowboys game or whatever. Might look weird to them. But, it's what I would have to do. In my mind, I couldn't in my right mind wear an Eagles jersey at a Cowboys home game. And those Eagles fans that they do travel down to that game, or heck, whatever, live in Dallas, and are Eagle fans, I mean, more power to you. If you travel and wear an Eagles jersey at a Cowboys game, more power to you. I'm not doing it. For the same reason that this Cowboys fan was rightfully kicked out, or righteously kicked out, of this Eagles fan. You just don't do it. If you want to dress plain, not wear any Cowboys gear, fine. And you want to check out, you want to, take a look at this practice, so then maybe you can, I don't know. I mean, what's the reason? You want to, because to me, like, I just think of Trump, like, a Cowboys fan going to an Eagles open practice, and then they're most likely they're probably going to bag on him to Eagle fan friends or co-workers they may have. Like, oh, I was here, Nelson Aguilar dropped some passes, or, whatever. I don't know. Like, what legitimate, what's the payoff? You're just going there and it's like you instantly put a target on your back. And look, in a perfect world, I guess, you should be able to go anywhere, I guess, and wear a Cowboys jersey and not have to worry about getting heckled. But see, again, one thing may lead to another. You go there, and wearing a Cowboys jersey, and Eagle fans have a point. Like, dude, this is an Eagles open press. Like, what are you doing here? And then, I don't know, does that Cowboys fan take offense to that? Does he get all defensive? Even though he really shouldn't be? It's like, yo, I can wear my Cowboys jersey wherever I want or something. I don't know. This is just me thinking out loud here. I can wear my Cowboys jersey wherever I want. Or maybe they start saying other things, like Eagles suck and yada yada. And it's like, come on. Like, you clearly don't belong here. Go down to Dallas and watch their open practice. And then it's rightfully so that you wear your Cowboys jersey. That's the bottom line. You know, I mean, I don't know what more to say. And it's a jersey of a current player too. I mean, it's not like this would lessen it more, but it's not like it's like a Troy Aikman jersey or some NFL legend.
He starts to come and then he pulls out.
It's, you know, again, it's modern day Cowboy fandom, weasel fandoms here. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I respect Troy Aikman. I respect, you know, Michael Irvin. Those Cowboy teams of the 90s that won. But again, we're talking 20 years ago. The Cowboys haven't won it. So there's still these Cowboy weasels, and they want to claim that, oh, we got 5 rings, you got 0, and yada yada. Like, come on, dude. Grow up. This is the Philadelphia Eagles region. Home of where the Philadelphia Eagles are practicing. Where the Dallas Cowboys are a rival. And you being a Cowboys fan in this region, when you really don't have any, for the most part, in clearly most cases, have any connection to Dallas. And if you move here, well, guess what? You're living in the Philadelphia area where the Philadelphia teams represent you. They play for us, for everybody in this geographical region. You wearing a Cowboys jersey to an Eagles open practice is just, it comes off as like you're just trying to get under our skin. You're just trying to be an a-hole. And it's clearly...
That's a violation.
It's clearly a violation. As Mike Missinelli would say. Alright. So I just, again, it makes perfect sense. And the Eagles, they don't have to defend it by saying, well, anybody who wears it, like any other team, whether it's the Jaguars or the Browns or whoever else, is not allowed here. I mean, I'm sure if somebody can't, they wouldn't be saying that if somebody did come in with a Jaguars jersey. I mean, it's not going to stir up anything, really. Even though I wouldn't know what they were doing to an Eagles open practice wearing a Jacksonville Jaguars jersey, really. But we know where you're going if you wear a Cowboys jersey there, or a Giants jersey, or a Redskins jersey. But especially Cowboys. Writing's on the wall. We're going to hear from Doug Peterson again today. Some of the things he had to say as the Eagles are progressing through training camp. Moving it again, it's hard to believe August has already come. We're just in the midst of preseason, with just being half a week, a week away. Not half a week, but a week away from the Eagles' preseason opener.
Oh, man.
And it's getting exciting. I mean, again, I'm hearing reports of Carson Wentz, and he looks a little more bulked up than last year, and it's getting exciting. We'll have some updates of training camp, some observations of what has been going on this week. As you know, they're starting to put, they've been starting to put the pads on a little bit. And, yeah. And we'll obviously get some updates on that. Listen to Doug Peterson. And I want to address quick before the first break that the Phillies, it's no news now, but they canceled the Pete Rose Wall of Fame ceremony in the midst of these statutory rape allegations. And look, I get too that he was a tax evade. He was, guilty of that in the 90s. Trying to evade. I know. I know he's had well-known gambling issues. That's. But when it comes to just the thing of statutory rape of underage girls, we have a PSA that kind of, I don't know, that is in circulation here on the Tyler Werner show, that kind of points at that, given it's an obvious issue. But just the thing of statutory rape and just the bad PR it brings, especially when it comes to, you want to put someone on a wall of fame in the midst of allegations of underage women. Yeah, I know it's during the 1970s, but still, it goes back to the Riley Cooper situation several years ago, and you just can't go through. Like we were like, dude, no, he shouldn't be practicing, and he shouldn't be on the team for that matter because he wasn't talented. All right, this is an Eagles. Or I'm sorry, Eagles. This is a Phillies great we're talking here. But you got to hold off on this. And maybe, like, there's these allegations, and people could say they're just allegations, but unfortunately, it goes back to the NFL draft, where domestic violence considerable evidence even can drop a player down the board. Like, you can't go through with taking a player, even if things aren't confirmed. From a PR perspective, things just have to be played safe. That's the bottom line. I mean, you can't. It's unfortunate sometimes because maybe not all the truth is there yet, but it's obvious to see why this ceremony was canceled. And I don't. Some people might defend Pete Rose in this situation, but I think you kind of, the Phillies and Pete Rose, they've decided Pete will not participate in the alumni weekend festivities that weekend. Again, these matters, they would overshadow Pete Rose's presence there and getting it. So it just can't do it right now. Maybe he's, if he's not guilty of this, maybe down the road, yeah, but right now, no. Can't do it. For better or for worse. All right, it is the Tyler Werner Show. We'll be right back after this with more.
Investigators are calling it the heist of the century. The grand robbery of Brady and Belichick's slow-cooked Italian meatballs, committed by some apparently hungry NFL officials who love their balls.
When I came in Monday morning, I was shocked to learn of the news reports about the balls and the process that happened between when they were prepared and went to the officials and went to the game.
As shocked as Belichick was of the news, perhaps Brady, the last man out of the kitchen on that Sunday night, was even more shocked to hear of the news of the theft.
I have a process that I go through. It was the same process that I always go through. When I felt them, they were perfect. I mean, I wouldn't want anyone touching those. I would zip those things up and lock them away, and that's what I thought I was doing.
As Brady and Belichick up the ante on their ball security, you'll just have to pick up a pack of their meatballs the next time you hit the grocery store and enjoy just how perfect these balls really are.
Tom's personal preferences on his ball security are something that he can talk about in much better detail than I could possibly provide.
Attention parents. Is your under 18-year-old daughter being cyber-stalked by a man who identifies themselves as a grown adult male?
I want to meet you and fool around. Are you up to meeting tonight, hon? I think I would like to shower with you. We can do it in the shower, too.
If so, you need to contact Chris Hansen and Company to bust these online cyber-stalkers.
How are you tonight? Why don't you have a seat there and get comfortable for that? I guess you're going to tell me next that this is the very first time you've done something like this.
Chris Hansen and the Dateline crew will take care of it. Contact us, and we will put an end to the cyber-stalking that your daughter is experiencing.
Well, there's something you got to know. I am Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on computer predators. Busted!
Yes, we're back on the Tyler Werner Show. And speaking of underage girls getting solicited, we by grown adult males, as Chris Hansen was alluding to there. We are, rightfully so. The postponement, as we were talking about in the end of the previous segment before the break. Well, not postponement. I guess you could indefinitely call it a postponement, but the cancellation of the ceremony for Pete Rose, Wall of Fame for the Philadelphia Phillies, due to the statutory rape allegations. This is dating back to the 70s, so I guess that, remains to be seen, but it's just that kind of being a dark cloud casting this shadow over the scene down there, I guess would just not be good. And sure enough, I guess Pete Rose will not be put on the Wall of Fame for the Philadelphia Phillies, at least for now. Maybe never, depending on if anything comes out of these allegations or not. So we got on to Philadelphia Eagles training camp reporting for this week. As Dave Zangaro from CSNPhilly.com, some day 9 observations is the Eagles now are almost 2 weeks in here. And we're just a week away from preseason game 1. Now, supposedly, starts off with the defense standing strong in the red zone. Now, a day after tackling to the ground began, the Eagles were in shorts and shells on this morning, Wednesday morning. But they still had a spirited practice. They worked a bunch in the red zone, which made for some interesting moments. 2 more days of practice on Thursday and Friday before having a day off on Saturday. So the injury report is as follows right now. Nick Foles, bit of an elbow injury he's dealing with right now.
That pisses me off.
Alshon Jeffrey, shoulder. Day to day, I get nothing major. Donnell Pumphrey with his hamstring right now. LeGarrette Blount. Now, I don't know, LeGarrette Blount, it was personal reasons. So not injured, but I don't know. It's like the day of tackling, and I don't know. And then suddenly, I don't know if he didn't want to get I don't know. But missing practice, I guess, because of personal reasons.
What's the matter with you?
What they may be, I don't know. But rolling on here, Alex McAllister, hamstring injury, and Elijah Qualls, groin, all missed practice again, all these guys. Torrey Smith, bit of back spasms. He returned after missing 1 day of practice, but Paul Turner missed Wednesday today with a shoulder injury. Alshon Jeffrey said he won't do interviews until he practices again. On Tuesday, Doug Peterson said the injury wasn't serious. And again, we'll hear from Doug Peterson shortly. The offense came out in the first 11-on-11 red zone period, firing. First ones hit Darren Sproles on a perfect wheel route. Even if there was a defender in the area, the pass was simply perfect. Then Trey Burton brought down 2 consecutive passes in the end zone. On the first, he leaped over Patrick Robinson, and the second he caught with Jalen Mills draped over him. The defense answered, though. In the next 11-on-11 drill in the red zone, or period in the red zone, the defense was impenetrable. Wentz and the offense had 12 plays starting from the 20 and couldn't get into the end zone. Of those 12 plays, 2 were short runs from Wendell Smallwood. The rest were incompletions. Mills knocked down a pass intended for Burton. C.J. Smith knocked down a pass to Smith. I'm assuming that's Torrey Smith. Malcolm Jenkins knocked down a pass for Burton. And even Robinson, who has struggled immensely, got into the action, breaking up a pass for Jordan Matthews. Jordan Matthews out there in the mix. Fletcher Cox pushed Wentz out of the pocket on one of the incompletions. Fletcher, getting in there a little bit. Even in the next period, which was 7-on-7 in the red zone, the defense was stout. It wasn't until the 5th play of the 7-on-7s that the offense scored. Brent Selleck bobbled the ball but caught it in the back of the end zone. That touchdown wasn't until the 17th play inside the red zone. Impressive stuff from the defense. Jalen Mills said, with our offense, they have a lot of formation, so you have to see it and communicate. If you don't communicate versus our offense, we're going to get scored on. I feel like that was the big part of the day today. We communicated as a defense. Take a short detour here. We'll We'll go over more of this momentarily. But now let's hear from Doug Peterson, what he has to say. Or had to say, I should say. A little earlier in the week. Last week we were really digging into how Doug Peterson was addressing the media. It seemed like a different Doug Peterson, a little more stout than usual, a little more brief, not fumbling as much as with his words. I don't know if it makes any sense. Doug Peterson met with the media before the team took the field for the first open practice of the season at Lincoln Financial Field, where again, I believe the number was about 23,000. Actually, not too far off from the 25,000, as I kind of said earlier, and which of course featured somebody who proceeded to wear a Dallas Cowboys jersey and was righteously thrown out, dismissed from the practice. But anyhow, let's take a listen in. Doug Peterson heading in to the open practice earlier this week.
Day one of camp. I mean, listen, we got a lot of camp to go, and I've been around this game a lot, and a lot of training camp practices, and the defense is going to get theirs, just like the offense is going to get. It goes back and forth, but it's exciting first day in pads to see the guys run around. So I'm not going to get overly hyped on one practice.
Are you sort of seeing a different Lane Johnson this camp than last year with the cloud hanging over him with the suspension and everything? How different is he between this year and last year?
Well, he's gone blonde, I just think he's a little more relaxed. Again, like you said, he doesn't have that cloud over his shoulders and or over his head, and just playing a lot more loose, a lot more relaxed, a lot more comfortable and confident.
Looked like Johnson got rolled up on during practice. Alshon Jeffrey landed on his shoulder. Any update on those two guys?
Both the guys are healthy. They'll go today. Yeah.
How serious is Nick Foles' injury, and how do you hurt him?
Not serious at all. Just soreness in his elbow. So he'll be fine. We'll just monitor that day by day.
What the guy Johnson showed you? He was the one who kind of came in with the first team when Alshon got a little banged up. What has he shown you?
Well, he's just go back to the first part of OTAs, and he's made an impact. He's shown up. He's making some plays. It was he's one of the guys that will continue to kind of give some reps from time to time. With that first group and see where he's at. He's a young, talented receiver that filled in well yesterday. I talked to the guys a lot about just we got to keep stacking those type of days together, and get better. So he did a nice job yesterday, and want to see another day today like that.
How much of what you see at training camp will kind of determine how you use your running backs this season?
I don't. We want to get them all touches. We want to get them all reps during camp. Again, we're in an evaluation process, so we've got to see what the guys can do. We want to see LeGarrette, obviously in our system running our plays, and we know what Darren and Wendell's coming off the injury from last season, so getting him back out there. So it's just a matter of just getting them equal time, but at the same time, seeing how now this time of year how they will play out and how they will fit into our offense going into the regular season.
It looked like C.J. Smith got some work with the more than it mixed there at cornerback.
Yeah, again, one of our young players. Excited to see him in camp, and now that we get the pads on, I thought he did a nice job yesterday. He's physical, and he again a second-year player coming in and having a lot of confidence in his ability, and we'll see where he's at as we keep going.
Are you any updates on the injuries to Werner, Goforth, Alex McAllister, and Elijah Paul?
Elijah won't practice, groin today, so we'll keep, he's the only one. Goforth, it is a knee, and it's unfortunate, but it is a knee, and obviously he's ACL, correct? Yeah, it is an ACL injury, so it's a disappointing disappointing injury for him. Who's the other guy you mentioned? McAllister, yeah, he's he's day by day, and his is a hamstring.
Or is ACL?
Yes. Tore, right? Yeah.
As a coach, does it get you excited to come back out here? I mean, obviously it's a different atmosphere for the guys being on the field, but in front of the fans for you second time around.
It's great. It's one of the things with our camp being at NovaCare, we just can't have as many fans as we used to have, up at Lehigh. But this is a great experience for our players, our coaches, our young players to experience this atmosphere before we start playing these preseason games coming up in a week. So great environment. It's great to have the military here today, and appreciate everything that they do, and the men and women that serve our country. So it's exciting to get a chance to meet them and have our guys on the field for the first time.
So you mentioned one of the reasons why you traded Alan Barber was to give some of the younger guys, like Dylan Gordon, I think you mentioned. What have you seen out of him as someone who can kind of, be like a pretty versatile guy on the line?
Well, he was a tight end in college, and brought him in, and athletic guy, big guy. Someone we felt could kind of get in that mold of the Jason Peters. Jason Peters, tight end guy, college, started his first couple years as a tight end in the National Football League before converted to a tackle. So I'm not comparing him to Jason, but that's the path, that Jason took, and it's very similar to Dylan. He's learning, a young player. He's just got to get better each day. Every rep that he gets is a valuable rep for him. Comes down to just the focus and just detailing his work, and but he's done a nice job for us.
Do you see that kind of potential?
The potential's there. Yeah, the potential's there, and we're excited to continue to see his growth as we go through camp.
Doug, the other day, the offense had a lengthy period where you were practicing screens against the air. Was there something that you saw that made you want to emphasize that?
No, it was just a part of practice. It was part of our acclimation, to leading up into training camp, and you don't get enough reps at screens, and we want to be a good screen football team. And so I felt it when you're going on air like that, you can really work on your landmarks and the timing, and get some good work done in that situation.
First tackle to the ground. Go ahead. Your first tackle to the ground practice is Tuesday. What are you hoping to get out of that? What do you want to see from that?
Well, again, the biggest thing is, and the main thing is just we want to keep conditioning our players with the physical nature of the contact, and obviously, come away healthy, but at the same time being proper position to make tackles. Let our running backs feel that extra hit, and I think it's a short yardage and goal line day, so that's the only way you can do those periods is live, to get the proper work out of it and work those situations.
Doug, how would you describe the presence LeGarrette Blount is, what he's done, and what he means to a football team when he arrives like he has?
Well, I think just knowing and kind of watching him, last year what he did with New England on their Super Bowl run, just the impact that he had in the red zone. I constantly find myself going back and watching those touchdown runs that he had, and he's a big physical downhill runner, and I saw it yesterday in some of that inside run period. The explosiveness. He's got great vision. Great vision to make little jump cuts and read defensive linemen, but that big body in the backfield, I think can, for a defender, presents a big problem, from a one-on-one tackling standpoint, and exciting to see him as we get going now in these games.
You watch all 18 of them, the touchdown runs you mentioned?
I did. I watched it a couple times this spring. I actually went back and watched it the other day.
Doug, I don't know how big a deal it is for the officials explained to the people that were there yesterday the new crackback block rules, where when the wide receiver goes in, obviously you know them, but you've seen them. How much do you have to coach players this camp to try to explain to them there's certain things they can't do now that they used to be able to do?
Yeah, it's just a block that they want to take out. It's a player safety issue, obviously, and it's you can't block low, below the knee, back towards the football. It doesn't take the crack block out of it. You can still crack from the shoulder, to the hip. You can still attack that area of the body. So all your cracks and things that teams do, you can still do that. You just can't block back towards the football below the knee, those backside cut blocks. So wide receivers and adjacent tight ends. So if there's two tight ends there, the second tight end can't come down and he's got to stay up, or at least try to be in position to get his head across his lower body.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks. Enjoy the day.
All right, so there was Doug Peterson earlier, heading into day one. I don't know, not a whole lot here of major note to look at, although I found the talk of LeGarrette Blount kind of a little ironic. Again, him kind of praising his explosiveness and his vision and his size at the running back position. And of course, they go to put the pads on, and the day that they're doing that, LeGarrette Blount does not practice for personal reasons, I guess.
Yesterday I did pull out.
So, I don't know. We'll come back on the other side. We'll go over more observations at Eagles training camp from today. Day 9. Right here on the Tyler Werner Show. Stay tuned for more right after this.
It's no big news flash that many people, you included, eat as a way to medicate themselves. You can choose to worry about it or not. You can choose to panic about your situation or not. It's clear what you must do in order to make important changes.
5 letters here. RELAX. Relax. We're going to be okay.
In order for you ever to effectively figure out and map how to get to where you want to go, you have to first know exactly where you are starting.
RELAX. Relax.
You have to be willing to change what you're doing. You can change your behavior.
#1 box office attraction, #1 WWE superstar, multi-time WWE champion, Brock Lesnar.
Time to revamp your office space, eh? Looking for an interior decorator? Look no further than Brock Lesnar.
Now that's the way a real man uses a sledgehammer.
Out with the old, in with the new. Give Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman a call.
Mr. Lesnar, you're the future of interior decorator. LA, we're done.
We're back on the Tyler Werner Show on this Wednesday, middle of the week, and in the middle of training camp, where we're gearing up for the preseason here in the month of August. It's hard to believe we are already in the month of August and are just a week away from preseason beginning.
I agree.
So we have these observations, just heard from Doug Peterson, given, speaking to the media, as they had, well, no pun intended, they opened open practice down at Lincoln Financial Field earlier in the week. Now today, as expected, the receiver versus defensive back one-on-ones went in favor of the wide receivers. No surprise there. It's a drill that is just easier for them, but several of the following plays stood out. One, Torrey Smith pulled in a pretty spectacular catch with his left hand while being held by a defender. Matt Collins made a really tough catch with Mills all over him. Jordan Matthews made a tough catch on a fade over Malcolm Jenkins. Aaron Grimes broke up a bad pass intended for Nelson Aguilar, and Rasul Douglas broke up a ball intended for David Watford. As the offense practiced some red zone work today, Trey Burton was really involved. He made those 2 big catches during the team portion, was also a big target in the group portion of practice. He had an impressive over-the-shoulder adjustment on a deep ball from Wentz. Aguilar made an impressive touchdown catch in the end zone, scooping it up from just about the top of the grass during 7-on-7s. It was the play of the day for the offense. Nelson Aguilar making a tough catch. A little ironic there after last season. In the very last 11-on-11 period of the day, Darren Sproles reminded everyone that he still has some moves. He took the handoff running right and cut on a dime back to the left, leaving a few defenders floating the wrong way. As a matter of fact, he turned 34 in June, but the little running back still has it.
There goes Sproles! There goes Sproles!
Speaking about impressive cuts, Greg Ward had one on Wednesday. Working on the other field, Peterson split up parts of practice today to let the first teams and the second teams face each other. Ward caught a short pass in completely reversed field, eventually pulling a great move on rookie cornerback Jamal Wiltz. Hollins couldn't bring down a deep ball with C.J. Smith making a great play, but it was a gem of a pass from Carson Wentz. The Eagles quarterback wasn't lights out on Wednesday, but we've seen his deep passes consistently be on the money throughout training camp. It's been impressive. That's good to hear. Tim Jernigan continues to make plays every day. He's consistently getting into the backfield to stop run plays before they can develop. Here's the stupid observation of the day. It looks like Bryce Treggs and Greg Ward have developed a special handshake. It's kind of like 2 jump steps followed by a few slaps of their hands. Okay. So that's pretty much that. Observations. Some feedback here in the comments section. One commenter for please stop the clear the throat injuries line. It wasn't funny when it actually happened a long time ago. It's not funny now. Stick to what you do. Give us information. Jeez. I believe
time's yours.
Yeah, referring to good old Andy Reid in the clearing throat before announcing injuries and whatnot during Eagle press conference.
Get some water.
All right. Can't wait to see Torrey Smith burning defenses on Wentz's deep ball. Could be Jackson 2.0 if Wentz can get it out there. Well, Torrey Smith has speed, certainly. Don't know quite if he's at the level of Deshaun Jackson when he was here, though. I don't know. But certainly, Wentz can get the ball, Then again, that's the thing. We haven't had the, I mean, Vic had a cannon of an arm, but as far as perhaps that, if Wentz can be accurate on these deep balls consistently, that's what we want to see. All right. Another commenter put in quotations. Wentz in the offense had 12 plays starting from the 20 and couldn't get into the end zone. Of those 12 plays, 2 were short runs from Wendell Smallwood. The rest were incompletions. To which a commenter responds, looks like Doug is definitely more focused on having a balanced offense this year. Oh, man. I kind of glossed over that earlier. That didn't even occur to me. I guess because it's kind of just practice, I guess. But of those 12 plays, he had 2 short runs, and then the rest were... So, you mean to 10 incomplete passes and 2 short runs. That doesn't sound...
Come on, that's terrible!
Doesn't sound very good. But what do I mean, I don't know. What do I know? Alright, so it's really where we're at now. That was today, training camp for the Philadelphia Eagles. A bunch of observations. Now, Eagles Jim Schwartz on Sidney Jones, who, of course, sitting the year out, he can only watch training camp, well, basically sitting the year out, it seems. Can only watch training camp activities. Basically, that's what Jim Schwartz, tough situation. Every day of training camp, the Eagles' cornerback competition is on display, and the concern about the position does not go away. Good poetry there, whether they intended to or not. And every day, Sidney Jones is watching from the sideline. Jones, the team's second-round pick, is out with a torn Achilles tendon that dropped him down around in April's draft. He might be the most talented quarterback on the Eagles roster. And he might not play it down this season. He might be if he was supposed to be if he was originally projected to be the first cornerback taken before the Achilles injury, then with this cornerback squad, he would be the most talented. But anyhow, and hopefully he wouldn't drop off that bet when he comes back from his injury, that he would no longer be the most talented in the cornerback squad. But anyways, what is Jones getting out of watching practice each day? Jim Schwartz said, tired legs. Jokingly. Schwartz admitted it's a tough situation for Jones. Training camp is a grind for any player, with all the meetings and season preparation in addition to the practices. Jones can take part in everything except practice, but even the meetings can be a challenge because he doesn't get to apply the team-wide corrections on the field. Let's see. It's harder when you're not the one on the film, Schwartz said. He has a tough job. He's been very good at staying up on things. This is what we told him. At some point, he's going to play. Who knows when it's going to be? We don't know. But his job is to be mentally ready when he's physically ready. When he's physically ready, he can't go. Now it's time to get mentally ready. He has to stay ready and do that stuff. It's tough duty. Schwartz said Jones can also learn by the way the veterans react to situations. He mentioned safeties Malcolm Jenkins and Rodney McLeod and the way they respond to poor practices. It's all beneficial for Jones, but the benefit won't be apparent until he hits the field. And if the cornerback play this summer is any indication, it can't come soon enough. And furthermore, Eagles wide receiver Alshon Jeffrey sidelined for second consecutive practice. He needed more than just 1 day off for his ailing shoulder. Supposedly today, he missed his second consecutive day of practice on Wednesday, today, as I just said, with this shoulder injury that seemed to be nagging a little bit. Wasn't really mentioned in the observations that we were going over just a couple minutes ago. Doug Peterson made it seem as if Jeffrey's absence on Tuesday was simply to just rest his shoulder and get younger players involved. So another day on the sideline for Jeffrey, watching with teammates, watched practice with teammates and caught balls on the side, but didn't really participate in anything going on the field. He fell on his shoulder during practice on Saturday. I believe Doug Pearson did mention that on his press conference we were listening to earlier. He turned to practice that day, and he was a full participant on Sunday. The Eagles did not practice on Monday, and Jeffrey has not participated the past 2 days. And, of course, being Tuesday against the open practice, then there's no known reason yet to be alarmed, though. The Eagles are back at practice Thursday with a session that will include live contact as the first preseason game approaches on August 10th. So, Thursday, live contact again. We will see if LeGarrette Blount this time is there, doesn't miss it for personal reasons, and we'll continue to monitor things with training camp. As next week we'll be, previewing a little bit of the preseason now, as we'll have a for the first time, albeit a preseason game, but for the first time in a long time, we'll have a Philadelphia Eagles game to preview. So it is just right around the corner, preseason football. Philadelphia Eagles opening up the preseason next week.
This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
We'll stay tuned for that next week. Talk about it right here on the Tyler Werner Show, as always. Until then, everybody have a great week, and we'll talk to you next time on the Tyler Werner Show.